And today we're looking at Google Slides versus Microsoft PowerPoint. Mobile presentation, choose the right tool for the job. Here's a summary where if you use Microsoft PowerPoint, in my example on Android, you will get lots of things on the right hand side where they are all ticked. And on the left hand side, Google Slides does not do these three middle things. In other words, we have both Slides and PowerPoint will create and edit slides. Obvious. If you present on mobile, PowerPoint will give us a screen area that is full screen. I'll demonstrate in a second, where Slides is cropped round the outsides and also shows the three buttons of Android. I will show you in a moment. PowerPoint gives you these lovely ink tools in presentation where Slides does not. And also PowerPoint gives you a black slide whenever you need it where Slides does not. And the last thing is you can pinch zoom both of them. So for an example, if you go and use PowerPoint on full screen, you get this lovely 16:9 full screen to screen record later. On Slides, it is not only if you use a 16:9 on presentation area, you get a black border top and bottom, and you get the Android, in my example Android 7 menus coming up, which quite honestly really doesn't look very nice. Then PowerPoint has these things called ink tools where you can draw, highlight, erase them or clear them, which is very good for annotations. Notice this thing in the middle here with a dotted line. If you click that at any stage, it just turns the whole lot black. Very useful tool if you wanted to pause for a second or take a question, or just clear that slide for a test. So this is in two parts. I'm just finishing part one. In the next part we're going to look at how to present and record on mobile using Slides or PowerPoint. There is a 7-step process that I use. As I said, live demo coming up in a few seconds. My screen on the left is my mobile phone. If I was going to do this and teach someone else, number one, I would say set up your AZ screen recorder. I use and have used for many years. I would set it up as landscape, 1920-1080 if your phone allows, and I would turn the microphone on, should you wish of course to use the inbuilt phone microphone. Number two, I would start screen recording and I would open Slides or PowerPoint depending on which one you want to use. I would then just pause and take a breath. Compose yourself. Wait for 3 seconds because that helps for trimming video later. I would do the whole presentation. I would wait for another 3 seconds at the end just to make sure you've got enough to trim back should you need it, and then stop record. And number 6, I would open the AZ Screen Recorder editor to trim the start and the end of the recording to make it perfect. And then number 7, I would save it and share it. So in AZ Screen Recorder, and I use the bubble thing on the left, you can hit settings, and in my setup I would use 1920-1080. I would use landscape, and in this example turn the microphone on, although I use a setup where I use my standalone Zoom H2N microphone to sync this audio on any of my screen recordings later. You do not have to do that, but I do it because I make an awful lot of videos. I think I've got 1260 live at YouTube publicly. So the next part of this will be the live demo on Android 7 using AZ Screen Recorder, PowerPoint and Slides. Here we are on the Android phone. You can see that it's landscape recording but in portrait actually on the phone. So step number 1, we are now recording our screen and AZ is working. So what we do is we go into Google Slides as the first demo. We open our slide set. Of course I normally wouldn't be speaking if I was doing this, recording the presentation. So I would go in and present on this device. I would wait for it to load, and then it has loaded. I would pause silently in my head, 1, 2, 3, and then start. Some recent trees in autumn. Look at that, it's an oak tree. Then I would talk about the next slide and the next slide, and then finish, 1, 2, 3, go back, and then I would normally swipe down and stop the recording. In this example, because it's a live demo, I'm going to swipe that out the way, swipe out the way, and let's say I'd started AZ recording again, but this time the PowerPoint version. I would open PowerPoint. There it is, look, swapping round to landscape as needed. PowerPoint does take a little bit of time, there it is, to open up. Some recent trees is the one that I need to do with the demo. And here we are with the presentation that is open. If you like, we can actually scroll down and see the slides, or we can hit an edit button, which I'm not going to touch at the moment. What I am going to do is hit present. And you can see that we are completely full screen, and if I tap once, I will get the menu come up the top, and I can instantly swap over to a black slide. So I could pause my talk, maybe ask a question like, what did you just see on screen? I can tap once and then I can take off the black slide, very useful feature. I can then turn around and say go to the next slide by swiping. I'm swiping right to left. Then I can come along, there you go, the next slide, and then tap once anywhere, and this time I can hit ink tools, and you can see I'm on a red pen, and if I tap to a yellow highlighter it looks like that. If I go up to look at a red pen, I can look like that, and then carry on. I can use the eraser, which literally takes these away, or I could erase all. So that's something you do get with PowerPoint. Then I can notice it's on the eraser, and then I can look at ink tools, say on the red, and turn it off. I can also pinch zoom, but with one finger I can move across. Tap once and go to the next slide, or in this example I think I've showed you everything, so I'm literally going to go quit, and then I'm going to pause at the end, and I could now actually end the AZ screen recorder part. In this example I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is just to say, and apologies if you're actually seeing this on portrait, in other words it's flat, we'll see how the recording comes out, but in your example what you would do is you would go into the little video editor, which is very, very good, and in whatever video you've got you can trim the start, you can trim the end, which will be of course your presentation you've done, and then hit, I'm not going to do it, but trim video there, and it will take off the front and take off the end as needed. So quite honestly, that is the concluding part to this Google Slides versus PowerPoint. Good luck with it, and have a great time presenting.